Hello and welcome to this special episode of Speaking of Stadia. I am your host Jacob Porter today. With as with me always is Fiona.
Hello.
And hoping Aaron gets on here if he hops on for 2 seconds. He's dealing with a case of COVID right now, so he is unfortunately trying to recover from that. And we have a guest today, one of the other GSN. You probably watch the streams all the time, but the gaming CPA, Andrew, how you doing?
Doing well, thank you, Jacob.
Thanks for hopping on with us. This is I had this segment originally to do like a side news thing, and unfortunately, the news is not the greatest. So it's something I think we all knew was probably going to happen at some point, but not for like another year or two. Stadia is winding down its service, and that's why we're here. And I really didn't actually I guess I should just say how you guys all doing. I'm not used to the host seat, so I apologize. But I guess we'll start. I guess going to that. How do you guys all? What's your gut reaction to this, Andrew? You want to start off?
Yeah, obviously gut reaction is it's heartbreaking. Because obviously I think with a lot of people, the reason why we're so excited about Stadia was many things coming from whether the ease of use, having access across multiple devices, never having to upgrade PC. So it is a heartbreak. And I'm just curious as to why it happened and why it happened now. So I'm hoping we can dive into that a little bit, run some theories.
Yeah, hopefully. And what about you, Fiona?
Man, it was a rough day. I was at work, and I noticed that my phone was going off, and I was just like, "What is happening?" And I'm like, "Why out of all the days it had to be today?" And I looked down, and then I saw one of my other co-hosts, Mario Rivera, posted, and he's just like, "Hey, Fee," and then he's just like, he just sent the link, and I'm like, "What?" And then I saw your messages and a few others, and I'm really bummed by it. I'm not gonna lie. I was just kind of like, I agree with Andrew. I really like the ease of being able to play. I played on Stadia much, like obviously a lot more when I didn't have my pre-build, because it was the way that I was able to play video games for a long time. Especially with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series not being available essentially anywhere for a very long time. And then trying to figure out like, okay, what type of new computer I should get. And so for a long time, like all the new releases, everyone was talking about, like, at least for myself, I didn't have access. So having Stadia was my gateway to be able to play those types of games. And so it's kind of like, it's really throwing me off currently, I guess is the best way to put it. Like I keep on thinking, like I forget for a moment and then it comes back again. And I'm like, wait a second, it's ending.
Yeah. Even I came out like right away. To my wife, I'm like, because she knows how invested I am in it, and how like I said, like I jokingly said, like I need a new Christmas present now from 2 years ago because I'm gonna get refunded for this, and she got me because originally I get like the quick high view is Aaron and I are actually both not founders. We actually had founders editions and canceled them, and then ended up just getting controllers and hardware other ways to play. So I don't have a founder controller, but I've been in since literally day one. I think Aaron actually, I forget if it was Aaron or who gave me the friend code. I think Aaron gave me his friend code thing. I forget how it is, but yeah, I got a friend code and then was the Buddy Pass, wherever it was, and then did it from there. So yeah, I jokingly said that about my wife because she's even surprised too, like how that would just happen this quickly. I mean, I was playing Stadia. I know you were playing yesterday, Andrew, but like I don't play as often or games in general as often, but like I still play often. Like, so it's not like it's out of my repertoire anymore. So it's just crazy. I work from home, so I actually saw the Slack pop off for GSN. Like, oh
Yeah.
no, that's how I first found out. It was like that. So yeah, no, I'll pull up the article. We can go at it and see what Mr. Phil has to say to us, because the only time he wants to talk to us is when it's bad news. Feels like anymore. Just the freaking worst, this guy. So did not. Oh, I gotta add stream, and there we go. It's white text, so fantastic. Can I force? Can I not force? No. Can I force? No, it's not this one. Either way, I wish it was a dark mode. So I'll just read it. It's not that long. For many years, Google has invested across multiple aspects of the gaming industry. We help developers build and distribute gaming apps on Google Play and Google Play Games. Gaming creators are reaching audiences in the world through YouTube, through videos, live streaming, and shorts. And our cloud streaming technology delivers immersive gameplay at a massive scale. A few years ago, we launched the consumer gaming service Stadia, and while Stadia approach to streaming games for consumers was built on a strong technology foundation, it hasn't gained the traction with users that we expected, so we made the difficult decision to begin winding down a Stadia streaming service. We're grateful to the dedicated Stadia players that have been with us from the start. We will be refunding all Stadia hardware purchases made through the Google Store and all game add-on content purchased through the Stadia Store, which is closed, by the way. If you try to log on the store, you can't buy anything, but you can actually claim the new Hot Wheels game they added this morning for obvious reasons. Players will continue to have access to their game libraries through January 18th, 2023. So you can complete final play sessions. We expect to have the majority of refunds completed by mid-January 2023. We have more details for players on the process in the help center, which we can look at that if they have there's a few frequently asked questions that are useful, I guess. The underlying technology platform that Power Stadia has been proven at scale and transcends gaming. We see clear opportunities to apply this technology across other parts of the Google, like YouTube, Google Play, and augmented reality AR efforts, as well as make it available to our industry partners. So white labeling, and while which aligns with where we see the future of gaming heading. We remain deeply committed to gaming, and we continue to invest in new tools, technologies, and platforms that power the success of developers, industry partners, cloud customers, and creators. For the Stadia team, building and supporting Stadia from the ground up has been fueled by the same passion for gaming as that our players have. Many of the Stadia team members will be carrying their work forward in other parts of the company. We are so grateful for our groundbreaking work of the team, and we look forward to continuing to have an impact across gaming and other industries using the foundational Stadia streaming technology. So yeah, I can pull that back up whenever we need, but what do you guys make of what Mr. Phil had to say?
Fiona, ladies first.
Oh, delightful. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Well, nice to actually honestly, this is the most we've received from him the entire like for the past 2 years, not gonna lie.
I think SG&E was the only time you had like probably more text, but yes, this is like this and SG&E closing is like it.
Yeah, no, Phil, you need I don't know. I just keep on getting flashbacks of the past 2 years of just constant times where they could have either improved or they could have advertised more or they could have done something different, and they're just like, I don't know, it's really weird. Just like at reading it, like wasn't like, I don't know if the best way to put it was very clear. Like I just feel like he was just trying to like, everything was okay, like everything was fine, we're just not gonna, like, this is not our path right now. We see this being something in the future, or we get to do something and apply it in other areas, and I'm just like, why? I don't know. It just seems as though that it's just another failed Google system, like in software, and it's just very disappointing that there could have been so much more, because there's always constant talks about the fact that cloud gaming is going to be the new type of gaming, and it allowed a lot of people to get access, especially during one, COVID, two, great example of how Stadia was so much better was like when Cyberpunk 2077 came out and we saw how well it ran, and I don't know, it's just, I don't know if I don't like this closing. I think it's kind of I don't know. There's too many like I don't, I'm sorry. I'm just like trying to like look over this, and I'm like, I'm happy to hear that they're not just like removing the staff and that they're moving them to other
That's what
departments.
Google does, though. That's what those
But yeah,
them and Apple and all those do best is, hey, just like I think with one of the Google teams, they ended their so they're like find a job somewhere else in the company. Just
yeah.
like just find yourself a job.
Also, like him stating, we remain deeply committed to gaming and we will continue to invest in new tools. What do you mean that you're invested? Because I remember specifically last year during the Game Awards, you said nothing about Stadia the entire time. You talked about Google Play games the entire
Oh
time.
yeah, they had
Like,
the one thing for that, but not Stadia.
yeah,
Even though they just made the trailer for Trials like the week before.
yeah.
Like it's like good. I even said that in the episode afterwards, like good little like 1 minute bite that would have been a perfect thing to get. Like, oh, Trials, people can just try this without having to log, like without having to make an account. They can just use their email.
I just think him saying that he's like we're fully committed into gaming, I don't think that's true. I think that's a lie, and
You can't have both.
you you can't say like, oh, I'm really committed to something and then not show any of that over the past 2 years.
Almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, the first year, yeah.
The first year, um, it all went down. I don't know. It's just the commitment wasn't there. And that's why I think a lot of the statement seems a little disingenuous. If anyone else wants to hop in on their thoughts, but I
I just
don't
want to
think.
give a quick shout out to all notes in the chat is Paratrope. If you're not familiar with who they are, they're in the chat that says "Stay Strong Stadians." They had Sky Climbers, which was like a fairly successful Kickstarter that was very well backed by the Stadia community because they said they're going to be on Stadia, and the game's in alpha right now. I think our beta. I forget where the development process is, but the original plan was to have it come on Stadia, and then obviously now it's not going to. I know they had actually switched a lot of their alpha codes to other platforms, so if you back that game, you're not going to get it on Stadia. Hopefully, you have a good PC that can run it or another console that can run it. So I'm not sure what other consoles they're on. I forget offhand, but thank you guys for dropping the chat.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, for supporting the community. So yeah, and actually another thing I guess wanted to talking point is this is number 271 on Google's graveyard now, and that's like how you're saying, like you feel with them stating like, oh, like we're committed to gaming. So like, well, no one's gonna trust you. Like people don't really trust you already as it is, and like this is the one like this is one of the more consumer forward announcements in the beginning back at GDC. I think it was GDC back in now at 2019.
Yeah,
2019.
Yeah. So like that was one of their big like at least in the gaming industry a really public announcement, and then you just took like the entire gaming industry and just like you lost them. Like you've lost I know, and that's not just for like gaming. Other products too. If you do another service, is anyone be like, oh, they're just going to cancel this service, or they're going to stop supporting this device? Or, I mean, like, I guess Chrome is a safe bet, YouTube's a safe bet, and search is a safe bet. But anything else they do besides those three, no one's going to trust them. Like, they could kill the Pixel at any time. They've killed the other projects in the phone industry. So it's not even just, it's even beyond gaming, the impact this is going to have on them as a company.
Well, and the nerve-wracking part is, I think what they're doing is Google likes to just rebrand. As soon as they launched immersive stream for games, their white label service, we knew something fishy was going on, because it's like, oh, they're like, hey, we don't have to run a storefront, we don't have to worry about all these costs, we just sell our services straight to the developer.
Enterprise.
It's low risk, probably lower return if they were to actually have grown Stadia. But again, it's what Google does, and that's one thing when people initially, when Stadia was launching, and there was so much hate about Stadia because it's a Google product, people are like, oh, Google kills so many products. But I remember Generation Stadia saying, like, Google just rebrands. Like, they may have had 4 different Google photo applications before they now have Google Photos. Like, they may have had a Google photo album. So it's like, I know they do that a lot. And when immersive stream games came out, I was like, oh boy. Yeah, well, that's not good for Stadia.
And they said enterprise. The white labeling thing was there, definitely it. Like, if you look at it with Google Glass still exists as a product, but it's commercial. It's an enterprise. They use it for like manufacturing, for like, so they get like turn by turn like instructions on how to assemble things and stuff in a warehouse, like where to go find a product, and they'll direct them to that, like stuff like that. So the product still exists, but no one knows about it because it's not something anyone can use as a consumer product anymore. So they're kind of taking that, again, taking a consumer, I think they made it as a consumer product, pushed as a consumer product, and now pivoting it to a enterprise product. So it's the same formula they did with that. It's just a more public, I guess Google Glass is pretty public scale too, but I feel like more people gaming's a little more known than a very niche kind of tech product like that. Although that did make headlines in the news for being like in movie theaters and stuff like that. But so yeah.
Well, the big concern as well is like you were saying, who's going to trust Google? What kind of devs are now going to look at Google and be like, hey, we don't want to use your immersive stream for games, because what if you pull that on us? Like, that's another thing. I hope that I don't know if they consider the impact, because based on the statement towards the end when he says, we are involved in gaming, we're going to use kind of the technology we've built for YouTube, Google Play, and other things. I imagine, some people have been talking about Ubisoft maybe launching their own cloud Chrome browser or something. But at the same time, like, how can companies actually trust Google to continue that on after this? And there's going to be some damage.
I mean, Yves Guillemot has already trusted Phil Harrison with the world up to this point. So, I mean, he might as well just stick with it. So yeah, but yeah, I guess we had obviously the announcement, they had the big push with getting like guys like Xavier Woods on there, which I will cherish that photo, or a screenshot I took of him kissing the Stadia controller. Like, they put money into it, like, and then like a month later, like, and to advertising for it, and then a month later just killed SG&E. It's like, okay, so this is probably at that point, I think we all had like, it's gonna die at some point probably. I don't know when, but unless things they do another announcement or things change, it's probably on a decline at this point. And I guess the big red flag for me was this year when they're like, 100 games by the end of the year. And it's like, that number's not getting bigger. It's staying at 100, which was what last year, which is a small amount. Like, I think in like a month and a half, PlayStation had that many games on the platform.
Yeah.
So it's like, if that's growing, then they're stagnating, and they're not, and they weren't already hitting that number as it was. So, it felt like it was coming, but again, not this quickly, I think.
And I think the rough part is the blog post just seemed like it's a very private sector blog post to just put out, and it's a very last minute, cutting employees without them knowing. Like, the company I work for now,
they're not cutting them. They're redistributing them around across the company.
Yeah, so. hopefully there are other jobs across the country. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I mean, just as far as like the no head notice, the company I work for, we got bought out by Boeing maybe 10 years ago. And for people who don't know what Boeing is, they build airplanes. We are a drone manufacturer. Boeing bought us. Literally, I got started in September. 4 months before, they let off 200 people, 20% of the workforce. Just all of a sudden, they gave them, I think, a 2 months heads up, but they were preaching. The company was preaching before that layoff. Oh, everything's great. We're all doing fine. Like we're having some trouble with our revenue, but we got plans to get that revenue to come in. But then all of a sudden, as soon as it's not coming in, they start to see the writing on the wall. It's just a last minute decision, which being in finance, we kind of see it, but the rest of the company doesn't. And that's where it sucks. And that's where I don't like these kind of blog posts where they just catch employees by surprise and they just preach. The big company just preaches, oh yeah, parent company, we're doing fine. And then boom, just drops it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna grab a few from the chat. There's some good stuff going on there. Real quick, a little bit further back. Still things at Stadia that they closed. Stadia G&E. I got into Stadia for the nerdy, unique things that they could do with cloud gaming, and never really got that. Like the whole cloud gaming is going to exist out of the platforms. I mean, Luna is still a purely cloud thing, so maybe we'll see something there. But like Xbox isn't committed fully to cloud. They need to work on both. Although they've been in the past, like, oh, we're gonna use cloud gaming to do collision and stuff like that. But yeah, it's sad that we're not seeing that and not seeing that same kind of push from Amazon there. Somebody points out you can still download saves from Google Takeout. That's a big thing with like some of these games. Like I know like Assassin's Creed Odyssey doesn't have cross cloud saving. So you can't. That's a game was bought a lot on Stadia. I mean, that was actually, it's funny. I went to type in, I actually still have it here on my toolbar, is Project Stream from the beta for Stadia, essentially. So there is ways of saving your game, but like that's a big thing with all this. Like some people's game saves may be just gone if they're not savvy enough. Here, also bring up Paratropes too. Like again, they're still here talking like the true imagination limitation of Stadia was developer tools. We were about to pioneer a new tool that made porting faster. We had meetings scheduled this week with our technical account manager. That's how like drop of a hat this was. Just like for that's insane. That's how drop of a hat it was that this happened. Thank you guys for sharing that. That's
yeah, we really appreciate
sorry
it.
for you guys having to deal with this too. Like I really feel for the developers that put a lot of energy into Stadia. I know like Death Carnival is another one. They have been like really like not riding the Stadia train, but they've been really good for the community, really vocal in the community. I'm blanking on this what's the wine simulator one? They had
100 days wine simulator.
They were really close to Stadia, talking about similar stuff to what Paratrope's talking about with the development tools and different things. So like it's crazy that literally like these people had no like even you saw his response. I think his name's Eves as well. No, I'm looking at his name right now off him, but yeah, he posted like he was surprised like that this just happened. So clearly this is crazy thing. And I want to say human affectation, who's a friend of mine. The same argument could be used at any point in Google's life. They're known for scrapping products. Okay, that's the stigma around them now. Like and it's not getting any better with it.
Well, I think like at this day and age, especially with when they were released, like gaming became such a like platform and an ability for people like being like in a lockdown. We were able to like play video games and like a lot more, and we saw like a large attraction of people being able to get access to that, and they had a great opportunity. And quite honestly, shocker to no one, Luna's still not in Canada. So I can't freaking play that. Like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, Luna, if you come to Canada, by all means, I would love to try it.
Beesbo, get your stuff over there.
Yeah, come on. Like, how am I supposed to cloud game now, guys? No, it's I can't, but it's such a missed opportunity, and just it makes no sense. And then like I feel like you said, Jake, I just feel really bad about all the developers that are currently
Thank you for setting this to me, Fee.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Like here's another one. Yeah, today was not a fun day. But I think about think the team can be incredibly proud of the technology we built. It's easy to point fingers where exactly things went wrong. For now, it's just want to acknowledge the hard work and dedication of the Stadia team and the amazing online community. So yeah, this was definitely even people that are very involved in Stadia and bringing it to what it was were blindsided by this. So
I really want that controller.
I know.
I know.
There was actually one of those on like eBay or something.
eBay, right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. It went for like $1,000 or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
Damn,
It's
what?
like- and then someone had gutted it. It actually had to work too because they gutted Founders Edition and just swapped the shell,
Like the
from that one.
motherboard. Or...
Oh,
wow.
okay.
But
That's
they
awesome.
just swapped the shell from the Founders Edition to that one because it's still registered as a Founders Edition. I think they should, but yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Humpty Dumpty's got a question. I don't know if you want to pin it about
Yeah,
the refund and how
sure.
that's going to work. Yeah.
Do you know
So
about the
according
refund?
to
How's
the
it gonna work?
blog,
Yeah.
yes.
You go
Yeah.
about fine.
Yeah, no. So the blog post there, Humpty Dumpty says they're going to refund all hardware purchased at the Google Store, as well as any games and add-ons purchased through the Stadia Store, which is the only way to buy Stadia games. So I'm not sure. Have you guys tallied up how much you're going to be getting back in a little refund?
I already
have
have.
not.
I can tell you verbatim, Canadian dollars, everybody. I'm gonna get $271.76 back. And if I do not receive that back, Google, what the bleep? Like, and also, I know this is very silly, but one of the first things I was concerned about as someone who loves to play Dead by Daylight and as someone who
Okay, yeah. I need to know this because
so I'm a huge fan of Dead by Daylight, and when I wanted to move over to PC for it, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to support Stadia. I'm going to buy the digital gold edition.
I bought a few
and
of
then
those expansions
and get all the skins, including the discontinued Stranger Things skin.
Yes,
Am I going to lose those? Because if I
Yeah.
lose those, I'm going to freaking riot, and I'm going to have to reach out and be like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm like, I bought these
I think
before
it
they got
goes.
discontinued.
I think it links to your account because I bought DLC on Steam and it was available for me on Stadia. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, but I'm
So I think it's
concerned-
linked to that account. But yeah. that's fair. I'm pretty sure it goes. All the purchases go across, but
yeah,
that's something they may. Maybe check their Twitter and see if they have anything on that.
Yeah,
that
no,
might be kind of important.
I'm just really concerned because I'm like,
and I should bring up their. I said I was going to bring up their FAQ probably at some point because that's kind of on that topic of what we're talking.
How it's going to go down.
Yeah. Geek to Sneak has me freaking beat. My refund is going to be approximately $1,400.
Oh yes, I was gonna say yours is low. Mine's probably lower too. Like I bought games more in the beginning. Like I was buying a lot of games with Google Play credit, honestly. So I wonder how that's gonna work. Because if I bought it because I bought a lot of stuff with like Google Play credit. So and that was the one thing someone mentioned as well. I saw on the Twitter their post about it. People were about the blog post. I saw people commenting on it there. And that's where actually I saw the one thing like, how is Pro working? And Pro is they're not refunding, but if you keep your subscription, it's good to the end. Like they're not going to charge you until the end. So don't just cancel.
Also,
if I pay with a gift card and have since thrown it away, well, I get a refund. We keep an eye out for emails from us. We'll provide instructions on how to choose for me because I know a lot of people bought games through Google Opinion Rewards. Like I got a lot of money and bought games through that. So that's what I'm curious too.
Someone has to hop on to Google support and call them and be like, yo, what's the deal? I spent so much money in gift cards. Please let me know. And so then we can get the deets because I personally didn't buy any that way. But I also just didn't buy too many games because all the games that I wanted to play were the ones that came in Stadia Pro because I like more indie games. And so, or like smaller games. I'm not like a huge shooter by any shooter person. So like the games that came out, I was just like, okay, awesome. Because I played Adam
Wolf.
Yeah. That game. Yeah, I like the point and click adventures. Give me those. And I got really excited because they were giving those away. And then now, no.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the games I did play were through, a few games I bought, I loved Wavetail I would have bought Wavetail if it wasn't included with Pro right away.
True.
That's the thing. A lot of the games I would have bought were with Pro right away. I'm like, I can save my money and not get that. Like I think I bought Ember before that was Pro. That was one of the few. Like a lot of the games I was going to buy came right to Pro. So it's kind of, and I've still subscribed to Pro. I've never canceled that. It's funny. Is kind of Parachurch says the real question is how will all of you game now? For cloud stuff, I mean, I was actually subbed to all of them at one point, and I had to cut back because that was getting expensive, and I wasn't using them. So I wasn't using all of them. I was only really doing one or two. So I still have GeForce Now because my laptop is, as Fee is well aware, is a toaster oven. So I use GeForce Now to stream a lot on PC. What games they have, I still wish their library was better. There's a lot of games on there I want to play that I own that I can't play on that. Like Hades or Hyperlight Drifter I want to play and I can't play that on there. But then I was doing xCloud, which is pretty good, and then Luna I canceled because it was the overlap was too much with Luna with everything else.
Yeah.
What about you guys? I mean, I have PS5 as well now. Got it a few months ago.
I'm over the weekend, like on Monday, I'm supposed to get my Steam Deck.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna be playing on that. That's pretty much it. I play on PC and probably on the Steam Deck. And whenever any other cloud services might want to make their way to Canada, that would be pretty sick. But
Xbox is in Canada, right?
Xbox is in Canada, yeah.
It's
but
expensive though. You gotta pay for the full PC cloud gaming or just less stuff.
I have Xbox. Yeah, I have the Ultimate.
Ultimate, yeah, then fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with it, but yeah. Oh man, guess what? I just wishlist though, Paratope. I just wishlisted your game, and I'm very excited to play it on Steam Deck. I'm very excited to play it.
Yeah, thank you guys for.
Thank you.
And it's good that you guys are coming to and also GeForce Now, so I can enjoy you guys. So it's great to hear.
Nice.
I know we have a good. We have GeForce Now source as well, so we do talk about GeForce Now stuff as well. Yeah, I'm trying to think of. And Andrew, what about you? I know how is Elon Musk internet on the other services?
You know, I haven't played too much on GFN and all of those. The reason I had Stadia was to buy games I didn't already own, and that I want to just have the convenience of. So basically, any new games that would come out on Stadia and Steam, I'd buy it on Stadia, just because I have a 3000 gaming PC. So basically, my PC can kind of run most of the games that I already have. But I was like, Stadia's the future. It'll upgrade, its own hardware, so I never have to worry about upgrading hardware. So
It's
I can always play
scalable.
games. Exactly. So I don't really try out GFN at all, but I do Game Pass Ultimate. I resubscribe, I renew it, or I don't renew it. Sorry, but I subscribe, I cancel it for $1 a month.
Oh
then
yeah,
I do that little trick. So I do have access to xCloud, but I don't try it. But yep. Oh yeah. So, but normally I play PC. I think I have Sky Climbers. I have the alpha on the Steam. So
I have 2 codes for it. But I actually gotta give one to Aaron, honestly, or unless you want a fee. Either one of you guys can have. Although I can't remember if I have 2 codes, but so I did the 2-pack for the Kickstarter. So I have codes for it. I just haven't been able to use them because my computer is bad. Other stuff from this article, I guess. This announcement. I'm just trying to go through. I mean, yeah, it angers me every time I look at it. Like I actually retweeted his tweet from one of the last tweets he actually made. It was just him talking about it was someone talking about his them doing things on stage for like PS2 or PS3 or whatever it was. I think it was PS3 with him. And him saying like, "Oh no, my biggest achievement was making this joke." Whatever. I'm like, yeah, it's still your biggest achievement because you had a great opportunity with a innovative technology. It's still the best, in my opinion, best cloud technology out there in terms of latency. In terms of, I mean, obviously, the porting process is a problem, but like how it runs is the most efficient of all of them, and squandered it with bad marketing to start off. I mean, I guess if you want to talk about how it didn't start off great.
No, it did not. And I know I only specifically knew a small handful of people who even played Stadia because of Facebook group that we're in.
Yeah.
And it's just like it was always something like once I heard about it, I'm a huge Google fan. I have their freaking phone. I
I'm looking to
have
get I'm looking to get the Pixel 7 when it comes out. So
yeah, and it just I'm just very bummed out that they're like they squandered a great opportunity, especially with how huge the gaming community is, which I'm currently looking at the Google Pixel 7 and I'm just like, man, I really want this phone because it looks really cool. And to kind of go with it, they have almost what it looks like a wasabi color. Because guess what? You can't do anymore, Jake. You can't buy anything Stadia related, including the controllers, which I wanted a
yeah.
wasabi color
Oh, you
controller.
never got a wasabi? I have
I
two.
never got a.
I'll send you one. I
Thank
have two.
you.
Aaron bought me one thinking I didn't have one already, and I did. So you can have
Oh, yes,
it.
perfect. No,
Aaron's gonna get back for free. Aaron's gonna get refunded anyway, so who cares?
yeah, who cares? He's gonna get it. No, like, I'm like, they just like, they're like, oh, we're really sad about this. Let's just like remove absolutely everything Stadia related. Like, I'm honestly at this point shocked that they're keeping it open until like, or at least keeping it open until specifically January 13th, and then after that, like they're gonna remove it the year after, I think. Isn't it that how it's currently going? Is they're going to just be completely killing the server a year later?
No, it's January 18th is the last day
January 18th, and then the
of
servers are dead.
2023, and that's the
Yeah.
last day. So I'm
I
thinking of probably. I mean, a lot of people probably do a stream it off of into the sunset, probably.
oh yeah, we have to. We have to
Yeah.
play multiplayer games
We'll
until
we'll,
it
we'll be
dies.
playing Dead by Daylight until it dies.
Yeah, we'll play Dead by Daylight until it dies, and that's pretty fitting. I feel like we now need to do a live stream of this on January the 12th until it dies.
Well, yeah. So
I wonder if they chose that date because of some contracts, so that way they didn't have to necessarily pay out of if there's any sort of contracts they had to deal with
yeah.
I
with
would love to
devs.
know.
I guess
Yeah.
I guess we can talk about that. You mentioned in the beginning, like, what is your theory for why they're closing it now?
Yeah, so again, in
Was Skull
dealing
and
being
Bones getting delayed? Was Skull and Bones getting delayed this final straw?
yeah, the AAA game for Stadia got postponed. They're like, all right, that's it, we're done, no more, we can't wait. No, I don't really understand. I mean, so in our private sector, being a subsidiary of a large parent company, they have, from a financial standpoint, they want you to hit a certain target no matter what. So our company is a 13% gross margin. If we're only getting a 100 million in revenue, we better be hitting 13 million of gross margin, or else they're going to be very upset. And they're like, hey, cut headcount, cut costs, no matter what, just cut. You have to hit this. So my guess is that Stadia wasn't bringing in the revenue. Google maybe either gave them an ultimatum or was like, hey, we're kind of expecting these numbers to start coming in. And maybe possibly Jack Buser and Phil Harrison oversold and underdelivered kind of situation, which, I mean, I miss Jack. He was the energy and lifeblood of Stadia. He's an awesome individual. I loved watching him with interviews. He's like, guys, just try the game. Like, just try Stadia. Like, come on, it works really well. But that's my guess that what happened.
We're big kind of funny. Fee and I met through kind of funny. He came on and did a whole episode with Greg talking about Stadia and how passionate it was, and you could feel the passion in his voice. And Greg knows him from back when he was at PlayStation, and because Greg was really into PlayStation at home, they have a good rapport together. So yeah, like Jack was great, and then they like very quickly made him not the front facing guy either. Which, it was very like. Then it's just John John Justice. And then they made him more of the front facing guy. I'm like, well, I mean, both are good, but they kind of just like really switched that role, and then they stopped just being front facing in general after a year. I think it was so yeah, I agree. Yeah, I like Jack Buser a lot, and I mean, I'm glad he's still there and employed and hopefully doing the best he can with what he has. But yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, if they underperformed and oversold.
I kind of wish that they just run it like a startup, like just a startup that's just like, yep, you guys are going to hemorrhage money for years building that customer base, that fan base. We understand that, but I mean, look at it. Luna launched after Stadia launched. xCloud starting to start advertising and pushing forward. You know, like
Luna advertises a ton. I mean, granted, they have Twitch where they can just pop, but like I don't see ads at all on YouTube because I prefer premium, but. Yeah, we have a guest that decided to pop in here that we teased earlier on, and he is ready to come in. So I'm going to bring in the usual host, Aaron Cini. How you doing? How you feeling?
Shit. Like my intro just now. Like shit. That's okay. I'm here.
Is that because of COVID or is that because of the news that we got today?
It's like a terrible marriage that created this monstrosity of how I feel currently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about theories of why it happened today. I guess we can go right to just your gut punch and then transition into that. So what was your initial reaction to hearing the news?
The why today is tomorrow. I don't know, financial reasons. Who knows when they count their fiscal year? Like, where do they cut off certain months? I don't know. Like, it seems like a bookkeeping thing to just drop this at the end of the month and to not talk to any of the developers about it.
Like I said, we literally had, I'm not sure if you're watching, we literally had developers talking about like, hey, we had meetings this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And to see like replies to the tweets of it closing to be like, we have a game coming out November 1st. Like, what do you mean? And so I don't know. It feels very Batgirly is the best way I can put it.
Oh, that's good now.
They're just like, whoa, if we cut this by a certain date and we claim it, we're good for certain whatever in our financials. So yeah, I don't know. It just feels very end of the monthy. It feels very corporate and cold.
Oh, you know why? Do you know what ends tomorrow? Q3 for the year. Just saying. So
there you go.
Yep,
that's
Q3 ends.
Aaron nailed it.
Boom.
Yeah. Came in to just drop some quick knowledge.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, I mean I do think it's a reports thing. It's a numbers thing. Google, like the kill by Google list is so long because it's always just such a business decision. It's just, this isn't doing what we wanted. See ya. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and the number is up to 271 now is Stadia. So, yeah. I talked about it before, like it just, the fact they keep doing this, and especially on a very public facing thing like Stadia in the gaming, a very large gaming industry now, it really kills all trust for any new products, especially services that they put out going forward.
100%. And they've lost all trust in the gaming space. Like if that was something they had any interest in staying in, it's gone.
I mean, yeah. It's just crazy. So, yeah.
But guys, they really want to remain deeply.
Yeah,
they are deeply committed to gaming still, Aaron. You just need to remember that. We remain deeply committed to gaming.
By that, they mean we want more people like Kind of Funny to start simul streaming on our service.
Well, like, what were they expecting? Were they just like expecting like us, like the players and the people who were like using their service to actually just like, I don't know, free advertise for them? Like what was their idea? Were they expecting like, oh man, I'm just gonna wait until someone like Markiplier starts using Stadia and then we don't need to actually advertise? Because like the amount of advertising that they've done over the past 2 years for just like their other Google like app like games, like the Google Play, they're just like, oh yeah, Google Play, you can play games on there, but like I personally do not remember a time where I've seen an advertisement for Stadia.
I saw ads when it first launched. I saw that really, really weird ad
really
that made no sense with a kayak and
and then the guy floating through the sky and all the colors. Like I don't
know. They randomly got Reggie Watts for one too.
Yeah.
Which also was dumb.
But
I like Reggie Watts. Reggie Watts is great. It was a dumb commercial.
We love it.
Let me tell you the final nail in the coffin for me when I was like, yep, they're going to kill it.
We had that gut punch. Yeah.
We've had it multiple times, but the final straw for me was when the Logitech handheld came out and they said, you can have xCloud on here, you can have Amazon Luna on here, and you can have Google Play Store. I was like, oh, got it. So screw us. Understood. Like, they were advertising their Play Store over Stadia on the newest handheld that was supposed to compete with Steam Deck and essentially be a cloud-only handheld. Yeah. So the second they said that was Google Play, I was like, got it. You have literally no faith in your service anymore. Like, you won't even put the logo on a screen.
Yeah. No.
And the whole logo. I mean, it was constantly every E3 was logo gate. I mean,
Yeah.
are we gonna see a logo besides Baldur's Gate 3?
Right.
Like,
Literally.
or Ubisoft.
Yeah.
But
And
what a bizarre way to pull the plug on this. Like, just because yesterday I was reading about Stadia Pro getting Hot Wheels. Like,
Yeah, look this morning. They dropped it this morning.
yeah.
It was shadow dropped this morning
And then
because they're
like,
killing the service.
enjoy
You
this
can claim it.
January.
You can claim it and play it still. The store is like dead to buy things, but you can still search through it, find it, and claim it. That's the only thing you can do in the store right now. Is claim any games that are pro.
Yeah.
And play a game from the store.
wow.
Yeah,
think-
is it?
looks
They
like-
could.
Yep.
Paratrip said, yeah, they could have used YouTube to massive advantage, and they tried a little bit, but I don't think they went. I don't think they shot high enough. They didn't want to
on
pay the
anything.
money to get someone like PewDiePie or he's a big guy on YouTube at least. I know there's bigger streamers than Twitch, but like get one of the bigger YouTube guys on there. They did that whole thing with Xavier Woods when they had him
Yeah.
on that whole month after they pushed with a little bit
Totally.
of streaming, and then they killed SG&E like right after that push.
Yeah.
So I don't know what numbers they would have had to have done from that push to keep SG&E around, but clearly, and it was a combination of that
wasn't
and
enough.
Cyberpunk, and then was it even
Yeah.
before Cyberpunk? I can't remember when Cyberpunk even came out.
Yeah.
But
As a heads up, the store is actually completely dead at this point. You can only claim pro
Yeah.
games through the actual like homepage. Like you can't even access the store anymore.
Right.
Like the store page is no longer.
yeah, it's just
existent.
a list of games.
No, it doesn't. Like
Oh, not
no,
even that.
There's a homepage. Like if I go on the website right now, there's home,
Oh, the
store and
desktop,
explore, and the store section. It just says Stadia will wind down the 18th of January 2023. Stadia stores
Oh,
are
they got-
closed, and they're just like you cannot access this whatsoever.
Yeah,
You
no.
can-
This morning it had more. This morning there was like below the message. This is the message that you're talking reading.
Yeah.
There was a whole like you can still look through the games and search games there. So like, if I type in something like Hot Wheels,
No, they pulled the plug and made sure this motherfucker was.
you can still search for games in there. Otherwise there's nothing. Yeah.
Wow.
I would say to Paratope's comment real quick about YouTube. I mean, they did use
Yeah.
Courage JD. So as far as content creator go, I remember when Outcasters came out, Courage JD was in there utilizing crowd play and
And they
crowd
used
choice.
and Sniper Wolf, that girl. I remember seeing
Yep.
her as well. It's like a bigger name.
But what was rough was they didn't have it all set up correctly. Like it literally took about an hour for them to get crowd play, crowd choice set up because they had to directly stream it from Stadia. And I remember hopping in the Discord of Stadia and was like, guys, can someone please get with these content creators and get things figured out because you're making Stadia look real bad.
Was this for
Because these
Bomberman?
content creators can't do it. No, Outcasters. When Outcasters came out.
No, Bomberman was a whole
Yeah.
nother mess because you had to like
Yeah.
go in to the like a local match essentially. Then they say crowd, they hit the crowd play, and then it was a whole weird like mess of way beginning to go in. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then I know you don't have ads too tall, but I don't have YouTube Premium. They didn't advertise Stadia like at all. Like you said, I think maybe for a little bit, but I saw more Xbox ads, and I don't play Xbox games that often, but I still saw them advertising more on YouTube. And I think Paratope to that point is it's just when Stadia advertise on YouTube, Google doesn't make any money. Whereas when other companies pay Google to advertise on YouTube, Google's at least bringing in some revenue. So they probably saw that. But again, it's part of that sacrifice Google had to make. Hey, we're going to lose out on a little bit of ad revenue, but this is going to be hopefully pushing Stadia further along.
Yeah. Again, like they had it literally made an ad that they were pushing like on YouTube, probably on YouTube ads a little bit for trials, like probably like 2 weeks before Game Awards. And then in that Game Awards, like, oh, they're going to have that little 1 minute clip there. And no, they, like if you said they advertised the Google Play Store instead of Stadia. And like, you're already putting money in for that. Just like spend the extra $500,000 or whatever it is to do something. Like you're buying, they just mismanage their money in terms of buying games too. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, Paratrope says that Credo was acquired by Google for $5 million and sold to Meta. I didn't realize they bought Credo, to be honest, but I didn't know they sold. I know it was purchased by Meta. I didn't realize that they had bought it and sold it.
I also jumped on to bring up this absolute savage tweet that I don't know if you guys already talked about, so I'm sorry. But it said, to be fair, Google Stadia faced terrible odds in the past 3 years, having to deal with a global pandemic forcing people to turn to online entertainment, with graphic cards and console shortages creating high demand for alternatives. If only they would have hit the market at a better time.
Yeah.
You want to talk about launching at the most premium time that this shit should have like succeeded.
And they did like the right thing in terms of having it be how many months free? It was like 3 or 4 months free or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But still, they didn't advertise it well. Like,
No.
they didn't do any money behind it. Oh, then now you can buy a GTX 1080 for $100, or you can spend $2,000 on a 4090.
On the new
Just to run Sky Climbers. Just to run
Yeah.
Sky Climbers.
Stadia
buy
will
that.
still make Cyberpunk look better.
Yeah, unfortunately, which is like
It won't.
that port team deserves an award and a
For
half
whatever they did.
for whatever they did to make
Yeah.
that game run on Stadia, but that literally was unplayable on like every other console.
Gosh, that was one thing. Why didn't Stadia just hire those guys and bring them in internally and be like, hey, send them out to every game dev company and just say, we will port any and all of your games to our platform for free. Just give us the update as soon as you push it out and we'll do it.
And it's funny. I was actually listening to Giant Bomb. Was it Giant Bomb? No, it was the guys used to be on Giant Bomb. Nextlander, and they were talking about NVIDIA just did a big like nerdy thing recently. Their whole like conference, and they're like going down like a lot of like AI stuff, and they're talking about how like it came talking about Steam Deck, how Steam Deck with Proton actually does a lot of converting to Vulkan. It's like, oh, well, yeah, like Proton is like a fork of Vulkan. It's like, I don't understand. And I know Paratrooper mentioned before they were working on a way of porting like seamlessly to Vulkan. Or if it's similar to that other porting process they mentioned at GDC this last year or their development conference. But anywho, like, so clearly like the tech exists in other platforms too, because Steam Deck is Linux. So Vulkan is Linux based. So like, that process has kind of been figured out by Valve. Yeah, Proton is essentially a pipeline for the pipeline question. Yeah, Proton. Yeah, so like that pipeline already exists somewhere. Granted, Valve owns it, but like you're Google, you can make something similar to that and make that process. They should have thought about that way before launching a consumer product, like Valve did before launching Steam Deck. They're learning from Google's mistakes. They built the infrastructure to make the porting process easier before. And granted, they also learned with the Steam boxes too. But you guys remember those? I worked at GameStop when they were selling those, and we didn't sell any of them. So
I own one. I think I own one.
Really?
Maybe.
Wow, that's maybe that cannot confirm. Or
Yeah.
But yeah, like that was another so I guess they failed there, but they still kept going and trying, and now they're very successful with the Steam Deck. So yeah, just a bummer. I'm not sure if you guys we're kind of talking. I'm not sure you want to keep going or wrap up with final thoughts. No, you got to get going.
I was like, COVID is out for sure. I wanted to join. It didn't feel right to not be here. I saw Fee's message and I was like, oh no, I was too late. And then I was like,
no,
we're still streaming. Yeah. And I was like, oh, perfect. I will definitely just jump in real quick.
Yeah, we're almost hitting the hour mark. So
final thoughts is I'm bummed. And the most annoying tweet I saw today was like, oh, it's always sad to see a game service end, but I'm glad the obnoxious fans will quiet down. And then they sent 2 more tweets like defending Stadia. And I was like, so you want to defend this multi-billion-dollar corporation, but not just fans who tried to keep something alive as long as they could? So just be better. That's all.
Just like let people enjoy shit.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Really.
Let us enjoy things, and when it crashes, bummer. I did throw out a tweet that said you can give me all the I told you so's you want, and everybody's been very, very kind on that tweet. So
don't worry, people in the Kind of Funny group are not as kind. Some of them.
Most
of them are good.
Facebook
most of them are good. Smart move.
Well,
you can't because you have 10,000 messages waiting for you
every time I open it. So I barely even go on that site anymore. But anyways, just look out for Speaking of Streaming or whatever the hell the next thing is.
Yeah, where we end up going, and then we will probably do another
we'll do a
in remembrance
sure.
final one.
Yeah.
I loved your idea of streaming it off the cliff, by the way.
Yeah, just
Like riding that bitch till it dies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just you crushing me a Bomberman, Porter.
One of the few times we actually streamed, we played Bomberman, and I just he was just not
Crushed
having
me.
it.
It's so bad.
Very funny.
So, anyways, you guys are awesome. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
Yep. Bye.
See you, Aaron.
Bye.
Looking forward.
What are you doing?
My show. It's my show. Just kidding. Bye.
What the hell?
He's delusional with the COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess what we'll do final thoughts. Feed, you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. I just want to say we're not angry, we're just incredibly disappointed. It is really disappointing to see a service that a lot of us were incredibly excited for, that we were cheering for the past 3 years, and now we're just watching it instantaneously implode on itself. Which, mind you, it's not almost instantaneous, because we have been seeing kind of like the cracks go through over the past few months, if not past year or so. But I just hope that they don't mess up their next gaming venture the way that they've done with Stadia, because it's been really disheartening as a gamer and as someone who's supported it, and we have a podcast about it. It's just really disheartening. I wish everyone on the team who worked their butts off to make the service run the way that it did well, and wherever they're put in Google, I guess. I wish you the best, but yeah, I'm really incredibly disappointed in all of this.
And Andrew, we're
Yeah, the gaming CPA. I'm still going to be streaming on the Gaming Source Net all the way up until I still love to stream my Stadia content. But yeah, I mean, overall, Fee definitely hit the nail on the head with all of that. And yeah, just if ever any Stadia employees ever watch this, just know we understand it's not you guys. It was Google's fault cutting this down. You guys worked your butt off. I remember seeing a tweet someone posted just reminding us like, hey, don't get mad at Stadia employees. This was a Google cutting the leash on it. So thank you guys so much for all the work you've put up with these last 3 years, starting with just the negative press from day one. You guys have fought hard, and I'm going to keep enjoying Stadia all the way until I can't. And yeah, we'll find out what our next platform of choice is. But definitely sad to see it go, because it did have so much potential.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I'll still game what I can on there, enjoy it while I have it, and definitely gonna remember my time fondly with it, but still be a little upset looking at that controller every time that I can't use it for what it's meant to be. So yeah, it's bittersweet, but yeah, I just again wish the best to all developers that were making and possibly not getting paid now by Google because they ended the program. So I know that a lot of developers were probably the margins are small for a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
So hope them all the best, and hope they get picked up and supported by the rest of the community. So thank you all. That was longer than I thought it was going to probably be, but that's how this rolls usually. So thank you all, and keep on gaming wherever you game. Bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.